present. Number one, t-test, and number two is u-test. Okay, so last week we discussed elaborately about the t-test. Got it? That means for t-test, number one, our target is to identify the critical value. Then we have to identify the degree of freedom. Then it is compared with the 0.05% probability, sir. Then we can easily identify the critical value. Then we have to compare it with the calculated value. And we inform that if the calculated value is more than critical value, null hypothesis rejected and hypothesis accepted. Okay, so there is a significant correlation or difference between the according to data or according to the questions. And we already informed that if it is a 4 mark, we have to collect the data from the graph. If it is a 5 mark, then we have to compare their variability. Either it is overlap or not, we have to compare it, right? So last class, we just discussed elaborately about the t-test. And now we will start another important test, that is u-test. So this question will come for 3 marks, 4 marks, or maximum 5 marks. Remember, so either t-test or u-test, any one will come. Okay, either a t-test or u-test, any one question will come. Okay, sir, another type of test is present that is known as Spearman rank correlation test that we will discuss later. It is connected to our another questions. Okay, and today we will just finish the u-test and the other things, sir, so that next class we can start our worksheet. Am I clear? So next class totally we will explain the worksheet, remember, sir. Okay, so now let's start. All are requested, sir. Look at the board, sir, and whatever I will explain, you have to write in your own words, sir. Okay, so please look at the board. Okay. Okay. Now, let's start. Headline is u-test. Okay. Same thing for u-test. At first, we have to identify critical value. So, what is the target in the u-test? Identify the critical value. And in your question paper, the value is known as calculated value. Right, sir? In your question paper, value is calculated value. For example, in your question paper, it's mentioned that, for example, calculated value u equal to 40. For example, calculated value u equal to 40. Now, so for u-test, read the question carefully, right? Normally, u-test, there are 2 samples present. How many, sir? 2 samples. Sample 1, sample 2. Okay, so sample is represented by N1 and N2. Okay, so for example, I'm giving just one example, sir. Think in your question paper, suppose it is mentioned that sample 1, that is N1. So the N1 number of, if I consider chicken, see, suppose 10, 12, 14, 16, 20. Okay, now Sample 2. That is a question. According to the question, you have to give the answer. N2. The value of N2 is 1, 3, 6, 8, 17, 20, 21. Okay. So here, how many value given, sir? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Clear? After that, sir, I'm talking about U-test. Right, sir? No need to find out the degree of freedom. No need to find, sir. Right? Now let's start. In your question paper, you will get a table. Like this type of table is present, is mentioned that sample 1, suppose N1. So sample 1 means it can be class, it can be field, it can be any group of students such. Right? Okay. So N1 and here is that N2. Okay. So for example, N1. This is 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay. And for N2, here is 3, 5, 7, 11, 12. Okay. The value of 3 is 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay. Then for next one is the value of 3. So N1 and here is the N2. Okay. So for example, N1, this is 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay. And for N2, here is 3, 5, 7, 11, 12. Okay. The value of 3 is 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay. Then for next one is, we can say 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay. Then we can consider 10, 20, 40, 50. This one is 20, 30, 40, 10. This one 10, 20, 40, 50. Suppose this is a value in your question paper. Okay. Sir, this is a question. Am I clear? This is a question. There are the two fields. Sample 1, there is a number of chicken, number of people, or anything, sir. Okay, number of earthworm, number of cockroach, whatever it is, sir, they mentioned according to the question. But your target is U-test. Target is U-test. Okay. So in that case, sir, two sample, sample 1, sample 2, and this is the data or table. Usually for t-test, in your table, there is a degree of freedom is present, right, sir? In your table, there is a degree of freedom is present. So from the degree of freedom, sir, we will analyze or identify the critical value for 0.05, right? But is there any degree of freedom present? No. Is there any 0.05 present? No. So how to identify this? Now, let's start. All are requested. Whatever I am telling, you can write in your own word. That is called U-test. Look at the board, sir. To identify the critical value. So our target is to identify the critical value. That is our target. Okay. First of all, how to identify? Stop writing. Look at the board, sir. Critical value. At first, sample 1. How many value present? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sample 1. Is there any 5 present? 5. Sample 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is there any 7 present? Yes. Then the meeting point of 5 and 7 is 20. So 20 is the critical value. Is it clear or not? Try to understand. So you can write in your own words. So at first identify the sample. How many sample present? N1. How many sample present for N2? Then we have to identify the meeting point. Meeting point of 2 sample. You can write in your own word. Meeting point of 2 sample. Right, sir? 5 and here's the 7. The meeting point is 20. So 20 is the, sir, 20 is the critical values. Got it? So we just identify the critical value. Now let's start. Okay, how to analyze? Look at the words. Now the analyze. See, analysis. Critical value is 20. Calculated value is 40. Right, sir? Now think, you test how to analyze. If calculated value is more than or greater than if calculated value is more than the critical value, null hypothesis is accepted and hypothesis is rejected. So there is no significant, according to the question, correlation or difference. Sir, in this question, what will be the answer? Correlation or difference? Correlation. What? Two pig, number of chicken. So in this question, so there is no significant correlation or difference between the that is done according to the sir. This is the opposite of t-test. Sir, opposite of t-test. In t-test, if calculated value is more than critical value, null hypothesis rejected. But here, null hypothesis accepted. Right, sir? So this one is for how many marks, sir? 3 marks. Sir, fourth number mark. Fourth mark. Tell me, sir. Same as t-test. Fourth number mark is related from the graph. It is related to graph. Fifth number mark. Variability. Is there any wide range of variability or small range of variability? And the variability overlap or not, you have to mention. Got it? So 3 mark opposite of t-test, but remaining 2 mark same as t-test. Okay, clear? Any confusion, sir? So this is the u-test. If calculated value is more than the critical value, null hypothesis is accepted and hypothesis is rejected. So there is no significant correlation or difference between the data according to the questions. Right? So vice versa, please write. Opposite analysis, please write. If opposite, for example, now think, suppose critical value is 50. Now, suppose critical value is 50. Then how to analyze? Think, if calculated value within bracket equal to 40 is less than the critical value equal to 50. If calculated value is less than the critical value, then tell me what will happen? Now, hypothesis is rejected and hypothesis is accepted. So, what will happen? So, there is significant correlation or difference between the data according to the same as this, sir. So please do it quickly, sir. Do it quickly, sir. That is important thing, sir. U-test. And another important information, usually Not always, sir. But remember, t-test is commonly analyzed for mean test, mean value. T-test is commonly analyzed for mean value, but U-test is commonly analyzed for median value. But t-test is commonly analyzed for mean value, but U-test is commonly analyzed for median value. Am I clear, sir? Okay, so these are the basic information of U-test. Got it? Any confusion, sir? Do it quickly, sir. So, first part, we discussed about null hypothesis. How many marks, sir? 2 marks. Then we discuss about to draw a table. How many marks? 3 to 4 marks. Then draw a graph with their variability, 3 marks or 4 marks. Then the analysis, 3, 4 or 5 marks. It depends. Okay. Up to this, any confusion, sir? Good. Hopefully everyone understood, sir. So we just finished the analysis. Okay. Now, one more important thing. One more important information. So is it finished, sir? Okay. Now, one more thing, sir. Suppose the value is not exactly present in the table. Suppose value is not exactly present in the table. In that case, sir, how to identify? Sir, it's a common one. Use chance to come this type of question. T-test, U-test, this type of question will come. But still another type of question can come. Okay? You have to remember that. Okay? If the value is not exactly present in the table, then how to identify? For example, look at the box. Suppose, think, is it finished? Now, here is 21. Okay. Then how to identify? I already informed that. How many sample present? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So is there any 6 present? No. There's no 6. Sir, this type of question can come. Right, sir? But you have to understand at that time how to identify this, sir, right? So if the value is not exactly present in the table, then you have to identify the very close one. Which value is very close to 6 in this table? 5 or 9? 5. So you have to consider 5. Got it? So the very close value you have to consider, sir. Same thing for t-test. So T and U test, sir, please note it down anywhere in your copy. Okay. So if the exact value is not present in the table or data, very close value we have to consider to analyze the data. Got it, sir? Just write in your own word. So here is a 6, but there is no 6 is present. But the very close value is 5. So you have to take the very close value. Both for t-test and U-test. Okay, here, done, finished. Now we will discuss another type of question, and after that, next week, all are requested, sir, please attend the offline class because of we will solve the worksheet. Next week, we will solve the worksheet. Okay, so please give me your lap person. Yes. Anyone, sir, can you give me? Okay. So listen to me, sir. According to our lab schedule, sir, right? So basically, see. So according to your lab schedule, sir, today is our class number 3. It should be a worksheet solving, right, sir? So we just extend the one class, right? So we will solve the worksheet on next class or maybe next 2 class. Think, sir. So in this session, there is only 17 classes given, but we will continue our class up to April, sir. So please remember, sir, we have to solve maximum amount of worksheet. Okay, so that we can confirm our answer. So please take your card. There is a class number 3 worksheet. Previous year portrait paper solving, but we will start it from next weeks, sir. Remember. Okay. Okay. Now listen to me, sir. Finished, right? Now another category of question that we will discuss. This one done. Now another type of question will come that is related to this question, analysis. Related to analysis. Sir, do you think, sir, for any kind of analysis or t-test, can we get the actual value? For any type of experimental situation or any kind of investigation, after that, do you think it is possible for us to get the accurate result? No. We can get the approximate result. Okay. Explain why difficult to get valid conclusion. You will get this type of headlines. This question will come for 3 months. So after the analysis, either t-test, u-test, graph, null hypothesis, whatever it is, sir. So there is a common question. Explain why it is difficult to get valid conclusions. Okay. How many marks, sir? 3 marks. I'm telling 1 point or say 2 points for 2 marks for sure. From my side, 2 mark confirm. Third number mark depends on question, sir. So what is the common dialogue? That means if any question related to this, difficult to get valid conclusion or why the experiment is not valid. Am I clear? If this type of question answer, so remember 3 mark, but 2 mark common dialogue. What is the common dialogue? I'm telling this right. If you mention this statement, you will get 1 mark. Other factors may not have been taken into considerations. Like we did the t-test, u-test, but all the variable we did not consider. All the other factors, okay, we did not consider. So that's why other factors may not have been taken into consideration. If you mention this one, you will get 1 mark. However, such as 2 examples, you will get 1 mark. Okay, so that is depends on question. It can be temperature, humidity, light intensity, mass, anything, sir, right? Any 2 valid points related to the experiment, sir, right? So if it is not mentioned, sir, just write that part. So if we just follow this variable, that time we can get the valid conclusions. Clear? So remember, sir, other factors may not have been taken into consideration. If you mention this statement, sir, you will get 1 mark. Then, such as, what are the factors that they did not mention the experiment, sir? Just write down their name. How many, sir? 2. 2 variables you have to mention. It depends on question, sir. It can be temperature, pH, light intensity, mass, type of exercise, then nutrient, pH, anything it can be, sir. Just mention the 2 variables, you will get 1. Okay, clear? Now, second point, it also depends on question. Small sample size or small sample size or number. For example, if I consider the u-test, how many value we consider? 5 and 7. So do you think it's a very large value? So another point, you will get 1 mark. But remember, it depends on questions, right? So small sample size or number. Am I clear? And another one. So in your graph, we show variability, right, sir? We draw the variability, sir. Sir, variability, another name is error bar. Error bar. Error. So remember, sir, if the variability or error bar overlap, sir, what is overlapping? For example, two value, right, sir? So this is the variability, right, sir? So what do you think, sir? Here variability or error bar overlap or not? Overlap, see? So if the error bar overlap, it is not valid conclusion. Same thing, it depends on graph. So you have to mention. Error bar overlap. But if the error bar it doesn't overlap, that time, sir, don't need to mention. Got it, sir? If there is no overlapping of error bar, please don't mention, sir, right? But if you think error bar overlap, then you can write. But number one is other factors may not have been taken into consideration. Example, 1 mark. Small sample size, according to the question, 1 mark. And error bar overlap, you will get 1 mark. And other thing, it depends on question. During the worksheet solving, we will discuss that first. Okay, here, if I consider till now, we finished things up. Now hypothesis, how many mark? Count it, sir. 2 mark. Draw the table. Consider 3 mark. Graph 3 to 4. Consider 3 mark. Analysis 4 mark. And not valid conclusion. How many marks? Total. So till now we just finished the 14 to 15 marks. Right, sir? Minimum, if I consider 13, maximum 15 mark we saw, we discussed. Right, sir? So coming class, we will discuss this 15 marks in a worksheet. All the questions we will discuss one by one. So coming class, all are requested, sir, please attend the offline. Okay, because of we need to solve the worksheet, we will solve it over here and we'll check it over here. Right? So today we just finished the 13 to 15 mark, 13 to 15 mark coming class worksheet. That's it. We just finished the basic part today up to this. Okay, and we have a cards final today, sir. So now you can start your card finals. So thank you, sir. Thank you for your cooperation. See you next class. Allah Hafiz. Allah.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
so the card final for the 7 o'clock in Dhanmondi, will it take place after the lab class or before?
Sir, first I will take the lab class, then I will take the card finals. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.